All right, don't judge me. But if I get into another networking event, Rob, and somebody opens up with WDYD, I'm just going to lose it.
I'm going to say, you're out of here.
So if you want to learn what WDYD is, then stick around. We got a couple of fun minutes for you as we talk about what not to say at a networking event. So welcome to Network Today, where we take you from meeting people to
Making money.
faster. This will get you to the money faster, for sure.
For sure.
Because having a conversation, that was a couple of episodes ago, go back to that. We touched on something in great conversation starters, and it was a WDYD, which is,
What do you do?
that's right. What do you do? No, what do you do?
What do you do?
That's right. So I have such a problem with that.
Well, I think the first thing that comes to mind, Cheryl, is the fact that I know the people aren't prepared to coming to the event.
Well, there you go. That's a good one.
So they're not, they're not there to really network in the way that you and I want to meet people on. So they're not prepared, and so again, it just gets off on the wrong track, really.
Let's go back to the premise of networking. It's not a collection. It's not a card collection. It's a connection. It's supposed to be a relationship building opportunity.
Right. Meeting new people, making new connections so we can build relationships.
So if somebody starts with, "Hi, Cheryl, my name's Arthur, and what do you do?" And I say,
Next.
other than being a professional networker, and then they look at me like, "What?"
Well, that also brings up, Cheryl, that just the fact that, when you go to these networking events and there's, 40, 50, 60 people there, you're not going to get an opportunity to meet everyone. So your time is precious. And so, again, you're there to make the right connections. And so, therefore, when you're that person, they're showing us, they're telling us they're not prepared. So it's kind of like for us, it's next, really and truly.
That's right. Sometimes it's because you're tired. Mm-hmm. You don't want to think anymore. Sometimes it's a conditioned response.
Right.
What do you do? And other times it's that I think people don't care, Rob. Yeah, I don't think I don't think they want to take the time to care about you or me and what makes me tick. What makes you tick? Like what gets you going every day?
Again, it's that creating that first impression. And if they can't do that from the get-go, then do you want to take the time to, your time's valuable. You want to take that time to spend on someone that doesn't get it.
That's exactly right. And I think you really said a key phrase there, and that's making a first impression. And that's what that opening line is all about. Mm-hmm. So it's your verbal reception. And if the reception looks like, "Hey, I just want to see the doctor and get out of here," right? Or, "Hey, let's have a conversation and tell me about the practice here. I want to know a little background before I go into the room."
Right.
And so get to know the person. That is so vital. Otherwise, it says you don't care about me at all.
Right.
That's how I feel.
Yeah.
Now, whether that's real or just in my mind, I feel like they don't want to get to know me.
Right. We could be making a quick judgment, which may be wrong.
Yeah.
But, you've got to, again, there's so many people there. And one of the tactics is be prepared and then have a good opening question.
Yeah. So if somebody wants to jump past getting to know me, it says to me that they just want to know what's in it for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do I do for a living so that I could feed them? That's what it sounds like. Now, probably in their mind, they're thinking, "Hey, how can I'm just going to give them the benefit of how can I refer people to you?"
Right.
Probably not, right? But the truth is, if I were to go to somebody, if I were to go to you, Rob, and it said, "Hey, Rob Bliss, nice to meet you. What do you do?" Well, that would tell me that all I want to know is I just want to jump straight to the VoIP systems. Is that something that interests me or not? Okay, I'm moving on.
Right. Yeah.
And
That's right.
So
Exactly.
And the other truth is, I know other people in VoIP systems. So if I don't like you, I don't care that you do VoIP systems.
Right.
I gotta like you, know you, and trust you before I refer you. So
Right.
let's get to know each other first. That first impression is so key. And so stay away from WDYD. Cool.
Yeah, because again, it's one of the the laws of good networking is the fact that you want to give first, and so it's always one of the questions I like to say is hey Bob, how can I help you? And so right then I've set that precedent of that I'm open. I want to bring value to the situation.
Yeah.
I want to help him build his network, his community, and so on. So it's a little bit softer approach, but people love that word, help. Yeah, I mean, I think the secret too, Sheryl, is just the fact that if you've got a couple of really good key questions, people are going to spend the next 15 minutes talking about it.
Yeah.
So it's not like you have to have this whole list of 20 questions that you got to memorize. Get 2 or 3 really good ones, and you're done. That person's going to be talking to you for the next 15, 20 minutes.
That's right. So I had 2 meetings today that each one of them originated in my neighborhood, but we both drove somewhere else to go have a meeting. I don't know why we didn't discuss that before, but we all came from East Dallas.
Okay.
And none of us have kids, and we all have dogs. So those conversations were so fun, talking about dog treatment, how you meet people with dogs, how they interact with kids. One gentleman was dating, and so the dogs are really important, right? But it was so good to get to know those people, because now those relationships, those conversations, those discussions are at a higher level in my mind than when somebody just said, hey, here's my card. Call me.
No, I totally really like what you said there, because again, that's what's going to lead into building trust. So you're starting to build that connection, the relationship. You're going to find out what kind of people they are. Do they have the same core values as you do? Because you're not going to give someone a referral until you've built that trust between one another. So where you're going with that this morning in your conversation, I love that.
I do too. And these, especially the first one, was a recommendation from a dear friend of mine that I've known for a very, very long time. But I didn't know how we were going to even connect, right? I didn't know. I'm like, okay, I really trust this dear friend of mine. And as we sit, and I'm like, oh, okay, it's just an hour. I'll suck it up and get through this. And it ended up being just a delightful conversation because I cared about them.
Right.
And what they were going through and their life circumstances, as opposed to what they did for a living. What they did for a living, it will always come up. So WDYD will come up, but make it later in the conversation.
Yeah.
Don't make it a, what do you do?
Absolutely. No.
Maybe I'll get a squirt gun. Maybe I'll have one of those pins that I could just so.
Or you do the taser.
Well, that's kind of brutal.
Okay.
That's a little brutal, but yeah. So if I have that strange look on my face, it's because you opened up with WDYD. Can I read for you? You probably didn't save all of those fun little.
I was I was rolling on the floor in those, Sheryl.
Okay,
Go ahead.
so,
tell a few of those.
So I got a good. So you have to look at that benchfly.com and networking etiquette, what to avoid. And go look for yourself, because I'm going to skip over some of these. They're inappropriate for this conversation, but some were pretty funny. The first one, I had to come over and meet you. You look just like a girl I used to stalk. Really? Okay. Sorry, my hand's wet. That does happen. They're out of towels in the men's room. So it's just make sure your hands are dry. That would be good. Just make sure they're dry. I'll be honest. I've never met a single person I liked at one of these things.
Whoa.
That would kind of tell me that you're not very likable.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. Exit stage left.
Here's one that I thought was funny. And I'm like, okay. They couldn't have actually heard these at a networking event. They had to have sat around and, got juiced up on coffee and started writing these things down. What's the matter? Oh, is that your normal face? Let's see if there's anything else. Oh, last but not least. Can I interest you in a breath mint? Actually, please take them all. So that was terrible. So don't do that. Like,
Don't do
just
that.
be kind.
No, just be prepared.
Yeah.
You know, before you go to the networking event, study the questions that you want to ask. You know, even study the event you're going to, because that's going to help you, research what type of questions you want to ask people.
Yeah. And when in doubt, just relate it back to the speaker or the person who invited you or what their connection is to that organization. That's always just an easy go-to, especially if it's a 7 a.m. meeting and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm a little brain dead.
Yeah.
So, but what do we stay away from? What do we not do?
WDYD.
That's right. So WDYD, exit out of your opening statements, and I promise you, your networking discussions, your networking relationships are going to build faster, and you'll get to the money more quickly.
Well, you know, and the good point there with you just saying that, Cheryl, is the fact that by asking a different question, it's going to lead to deeper conversation rather than just about your job. Because if the guy starts telling about his job, and then that's going to be a 10 or 15 minute conversation, you know nothing about him. So really, by asking another type question, it begins the process of building a relationship.
Yeah.
That's the key.
That's exactly right. All right, so we know what not to say, how not to open up a conversation, and want to send a little teaser out because as we're getting ready for this, we thought the new studio setup, which is working out pretty nice.
Yeah.
I think this might just be the one.
All right.
So I think this is great.
And we've been searching for the one for
quite some time.
Quite some time.
So here is one of the things that you can be looking forward to. It's perfectly set up for an audience participation podcast.
Wow.
Yes. So stay tuned because we'll be sending that notice out hopefully soon.
Okay.
Whatever it will be fun. It'll be a fun topic and obviously an opportunity to network.
Yeah.
That's because it's what we do. It's what we do. So welcome to Network Today. Thank you for being here, and we take you for meeting people too.
Making money.
Faster. We'll see you next week.